Hello YouTube, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another Starcraft 2 upload. This is a replay from over a year ago. It is me, Falcon, versus a Protoss. The Protoss's name is MicroKeaton, which I assume is a play on MicroKeaton, which is kind of fun. And this map, I have no idea what it's called, I don't remember, but I remember not liking it, which is kind of interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to speed up the game a little bit, because in these earlier moments it's just gathering minerals, you do some scouting, and there's not much to see or much to talk about. So Protoss here is going to send out a probe, get a quick pylon up. What Protoss will usually do is wall off this ramp with buildings or with pylons, which means that my Zerglings and my other attacking units can't get up there very easily to attack into the mineral line like you saw in the last game. So that's probably what this Protoss is going to do. In the meantime, he's scouting, looking for me, and I'm scouting, looking for him. Our scouting workers cross each other, as you just saw there. And he knows, based on where I came from, that I'm probably in the top left. So here he is, scooting along the top left, and I just got rid of everything by accident with the wrong hotkey. I think what I meant to do was Shift W to follow. Yeah, that looks right. So it follows the view of the Protoss player. He sees I have my spawning pool up, which means it can make Zerglings. He made a pylon here, trying to prevent me from getting my hatchery down, my second base down, which we talked about last game. It's important to have a second base down. So I just put it there, and he does a tricky cannon rush, which means he gets two pylons up and puts a cannon in the middle, which means I can't attack the cannon directly. The cannon's going to build here and get some shots off. I'm trying to kill this probe, and I'm able to do so, which is a good win for me. The probe, unfortunately, for him, isn't able to build any more cannons, but he's still got that one up. It's hard for me to kill this cannon because the surface area which my Zerglings have to attack on is very small. I can attack from this side, I can't attack between these minerals. So this effectively means I'm unable to put my hatchery down here and get my second base out as soon as I want to. So unfortunately I take this second area, or I guess a third area if you count this as the first area, to get my hatchery down. In the meantime, he already has his second nexus up. His second base is ready to go, which gives him a huge advantage as Protoss, and I feel like I'm pretty behind in this game. If we look on the Active Forces tab, I have 23 and he has 29. If we do a I for income, he has 28 harvesters to my 18 harvesters, which means his income per minerals, as well as the Vespene gas here, is going to be higher than mine at this point in the game. And boy, do I have a lot to come back from. So let's switch the view back to everyone, head back over to my base and see what I'm doing. I'm making some overlords, so I have enough available supply to keep making units. I have 26 units and 50 available supply, which means I can make units for a while without having to worry about making these big guys. You'll notice the Protoss is at 36 of 36, and what that means is that he is not able to make units until he breaks that supply block. Oh, he did. He made another pylon. Building pylons increases supply, building overlords increases supply, and now he can create more workers and more attack units if he wants. So at this point, I remember feeling like I am behind, I'm not sure what to do, I don't know how to attack this guy. So I put a hatchery down in his base. I guess at this point in my playing career, I was very interested in building what are called proxy hatches, which just means a hatch that's built not anywhere near your base, it's far away. The Protoss isn't expecting it, the Terran's not expecting it. Your opponent just really doesn't see it coming. But if they do see it coming, it's not well defended because all of your other units are back here. So it's really about the element of surprise. And meanwhile, I am upgrading my hatchery to a lair, which is something we didn't see in the last game. I was just content on making straight Zerglings. I didn't need the extra technology that upgrading to a lair would give me. So we are just down at the second base, making more workers, collecting those minerals, picking up another Vespene gas geyser, and I have about 200 gas in the bank, which isn't a lot. Our supplies are at 49 to 48, which means I'm doing pretty well catching up. I have 40 harvesters to his 45 now, which is better than I was. This hatchery is up and going. I'm making a queen. And Protoss looks like he's content to sit back in his base, build a bunch of gateways, which are his basic unit for basic building for creating army units, as well as a Stargate, which, as you can tell by the name, builds flying units. So he's building some Phoenix, which are air superiority fighters. I hadn't actually read that before. All they can attack are other air units, which means my overlords are pretty vulnerable to them because they're floating off the ground. And Phoenix also do extra damage to light units. So if they can get anything in the air that is light, for example Mutalisks are light, it's a flying attack unit from the Zerg, then they are very effective that way. They also have this Graviton beam, which makes a targeted unit float in the air and disabling its abilities. So what they can do is grab something on the ground, for example this queen, lift it in the air, it's not able to attack them back, the queen is helpless at that point, and then they can use their air-to-air attack to kill it. So let's see what they decide to do. Oh, Protoss comes out, and what he sees is something he's not happy about. There is creep right next to his base, and that's just this gooey stuff that Zerg bases create when they are built. Queens can also extend the creep, which just gives vision to the Zerg. I can see everywhere that the creep is, and also makes my units move a little bit faster. So he's going to come in with his Zealots, which are his basic attack units, and try to take this out before I can do too much damage. He's focusing on the Spore Crawler, which I don't know if is a great choice. It allows my Zerglings to get in there behind him and attack. And meanwhile, I have made Swarm Hosts. Now these are units that Protoss players hate to see. Essentially, they are really big guys you can see that burrow under the ground. So I can see them, but they're invisible to my Protoss enemy. And what they do is every once in a while, probably every, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, they spawn these eggs. The eggs hatch and create locusts, and the locusts come out to attack the Protoss base. Now locusts do quite a bit of damage for being such a small unit. See how quickly they destroyed that cannon. But they do time out eventually, which just means you can't just make a huge army of locusts and kill your enemy with them. They have to really complement the rest of your army. The other thing is locusts cannot attack air units. So see how this Protoss player and his Phoenix cannot be attacked by my locusts. But what they could do is use the Phoenix to come down and pick up the Swarm Hosts, even in the ground, and attack them that way. So I'm going to make more Swarm Hosts. I'm building a Spore Crawler, which attacks only air and can see invisible units. The Spore Crawlers are there to fend off these Phoenix, if you see there. And also this Void Ray, which is pretty powerful. It can attack ground units and air units. But thankfully, this Queen and Friend Queen can do enough damage against the Void Ray to kill it, get it in range of the Spore Crawler, and destroy it. In the meantime, my Locusts are attacking this front door. It is wide open now. Zerglings can come in, Locusts can come in, Queens can come in if they want to. And I'm just destroying everything that I can see. The Stalker is a high priority because it's an attacking unit. This Colossus is a high priority unit to attack. You'll notice it kind of looks like the Bad Aliens from War of the Worlds. It's really big and tall. It has these laser beam attacks that do splash damage, which means it attacks everything in an area. And is very strong against Zerg. The attacks do 19 damage per thermal lance. So that is, if my math is right, 38? Oh, my math is so bad, I apologize. About 38 damage per sweep. And they do pretty good against Locusts, but the problem for Protoss is that Locusts are essentially free units. They don't cost me any supply, they don't cost me any minerals, they don't cost me any gas, so I can just keep sending these in forever. It's a very frustrating strategy for Protoss to play against. If you let Zerg get this many Swarm Hosts and this many Locusts, they don't have many answers for it. But the Locusts are swinging in around here into the mineral line, and they're going to try to kill as many enemies as they can. Hopefully taking out that Stalker before they time out, and they don't. But the next wave of Locusts is already here. The Protoss player is not quite sure what to do. He's got 1,600 minerals and 500 gas available to make units, but unfortunately he just decides to leave it with a well-played man. That's what WP stands for. And the game is over. So I hope you enjoyed this cast. Again, it was a fairly short game. Remember, the Protoss tried to use a cannon rush against me up here to deny my expansion, but just sat back and let me macro up, which means get my economy going, let me tech up, which means let me get my lair, and get these swarm hosts out, which do take some time to build, and I was able to get right up to his front door and destroy him with the locusts. So, thank you for watching Falcon Paladin, as always, and I'll see you next time.